introduce you to my good friend Tiberius.
Now him, on the other hand, he's floating my boat, if you know what I mean.
Woo!
Well,
That's a whole lot of semen. That's a lot of semen for a guy to handle.
I'm passing him a note, Dave, and it says something to the order of, I can hook you up with Tiberius.
Oh my god. I'm so sorry, guys. That was funny.
Yeah, we probably don't want to roleplay any of those scenes, Dave.
No, definitely not.
No, definitely not.
Why not?
Well, I mean, Ralphiana would watch it,
like,
but other than
why
that...
not? Vay's like, why not? I'm ready for it.
That's all that poor Jew's watching.
I can cast grace if that'll help you.
Oh my god.
I mean, halfway through the roleplay, Shrump's camera will go dark. What's going on over there, buddy? Crazy, are you still playing?
No, I've no tissues this week, so it's...
That's what it is. Network issues that only affect video. What is that sound in the background?
He holds up his one tissue. I've got tissues. All right, so
when you get to my age, it takes a bit of a run up.
As you guys are, you guys are talking with the first mate. There's lots of crews. There's a lot of the crew around swabbing the deck. Breaking ice away from the ropes and the water that comes up over the bow and the edges of the boat. Now, as you guys are all talking, all of a sudden, one of the seamen up in the crow's nest up top yells, "Iceberg! Aye! Iceberg! Straight ahead!" So now they're ringing the bells, ding 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 ding, and it seems like the first mate he turns to you and says, "Oh, it looks like we're close to our destination." And it's been like I said, about a week to week and a half since you've left Waterdeep. So it looks like Oyavagaton is in visual sight of the frost skimmer. As we have crickets.
Load the bow torpedo tubes. Stand by, Mr. Christian. Ramming speed.
Ensign Chekhov. Sorry about that.
Iceberg, right? I mean.
Yeah, it's the first.
We're going to hit it.
No, the first mate tells you that they'll be basically putting down a skiff for you, and then you'll travel to the island.
This is the iceberg.
This is the iceberg. This is
okay.
Yes, Oyavagaton. That is Arathar's lair.
Right.
And yes, they are. You're inside of the island. A skiff is lowered down. You guys have anything you want to take care of before you head to Oyavagaton? So we're kind of accelerating this a little bit to get you there.
I'm going to put my thermal underwear on and my furs on, and then I'll put my mail on over the top.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was going to ask. I mean, obviously there's icebergs, so it's and there's cold out. So in Fahrenheit, what kind of temperature are we talking about? Is this something that I'm gonna? I mean, I have some furs, but is this something that we have to worry about getting? The elements affecting us?
Well, of course you have winter clothing on now. It's like I told you as you were preparing to go to, the sea of moving ice. Yeah, you all have winter clothing now. You all, especially the ladies, Widow and Vay, they have their boots with the fur on, and you guys, well, whatever else that you guys needed, you have for the trip.
Okay.
Yeah, and I've got a long black cape made out of it's like a black fur. And then I pull it around my shoulders and I look back
Thank you so much, Silent. Thank you for the follow.
All right, it's time to do some work.
And I look at you and I say, "Oh my God, I've got a black fur cape just like that at home, but I brought my other one." So
Metro.
Metro.
I suit up, grab my gear, get my familiar, which I'm going to have as a raven.
Okay. It says to you telepathically, "It is fucking cold out here. Why did you bring me?"
You should have summoned it as a penguin.
Yes, there's nothing. There's nothing more ferocious than a penguin.
Why not? Why not?
The vicious little buggers.
Yeah.
There is something
Penguin.
that I want to make sure of, Dave. I want
Sure.
to talk to Half-Face before we go, and with my I got my helmet on, and some fur and stuff, so I'm fairly insulated. I don't want my tongue to accidentally get stuck to my helmet, and it'll be like that Christmas story. But I got my helmet on. What I want to do is I want to probe around Half-Face to see if he's going to stay here or if he's thinking of leaving, because we want him to stay. So I'll go up to. So I'm going to cast this spell. I don't really know how to do this. Let me just. It's called Detect Thoughts.
Okay.
And it says, for the duration, you can read the thoughts of certain creatures when you cast the spell as your action on each turn until the spell ends, and it'll go for a minute. It says you can focus your mind on any one creature that you can see within 30 feet. If the creature you've chosen has an intelligence of 3 or lower and doesn't speak any language, it's unaffected.
Yeah.
You initially learn the surface thoughts, and then you shift as you talk to it. You can probe deeper. They have to make a wisdom saving throw, and if it fails, we can gain insight into its reasoning or its emotional state or something like that.
All right.
Then it goes on to say that if I verbally direct the creature, I can shape its thoughts. So basically with this helmet on, I want to talk to Half-Face and ask him, boy, what his plans are, and then I want him to know that he needs to be here no matter how horrible it is, and we'll be back. Guys, how long before you think we'll be back? How long should they wait here?
Probably a couple of days at
You guys,
tops.
Yeah.
you guys are gonna have about a week tops. Captain Half-Face says, "Hello there. What? I'm sorry. Who are you? What's his?
Well, I mean, we've been on the ship for a week. If you don't know of the
I-
leader of the clan,
Well, yeah. That's the funny thing about
Bullshit.
this. He has his first mate take care of everything. Now, when you request the audience with Captain Half-Face, his first mate tells you he really doesn't like to come in contact with people because of his seafaring injury is because the reason why they do call him Half-Face, and because he's missing a lot of his features off of his face. Although he's still alive, a lot of the times he does wear a mask, so he doesn't like to be in the presence of people. That's why he has his first mate take care of things. Now, whenever you do request this, the first mate is a little reluctant at first, but seeing that it is a fairly important matter, Half-Face does come out and he has a mask on, just like a solid mask with one eye hole. And as he comes out, he says, "I am sorry. Which one are you there?"
I'm Tiberius. I'm the leader of this crew.
Oh,
I just
Smack in the
wanted
back
you
of the
to.
head.
I just Half-Face. What is it? Is it okay if I call him Half-Face?
yes,
Okay.
You may. I am sorry that we have not yet before, but as due to my circumstances, I am sure that and he kind of puts his hands up to his mask. You understand why I usually don't come in contact with the guests on the ship.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you're a busy man. A lot of stuff to do. Listen,
I am
know
the captain
that
of a ship. I am not a servant. I do not take care of the people on the ship. I just direct the ship on where it's supposed to go.
Which is perfect. Exactly what I wanted to ask you about. We know that the guilds paid for the commission for you to come here, but I want you to know something. We greatly appreciate you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they did, didn't they? Who else is paying?
You can tell your cap is telling you that this guy's thinking they didn't fucking pay me enough money. You know what I mean?
That's where.
Yeah,
where
exactly.
I'll do this, Dave. This is my using my surface thought scan with my helmet.
Yeah.
So whenever I do this, know that I'm thinking of reading this guy's surface thoughts.
Yeah, we're gonna have some fun with this helm. So yeah.
So if he says indeed he doesn't want enough, I'm going to turn around and say, I want you to know that we realize how important it is to do this mission. We have a lot of money between us, and there is untold amount of riches and items in this area, and we're going to cut him in on a portion of it. But he's got to stay here. He's got to stay here for the week to bring us back. If he doesn't, he's not going to get a cut of this stuff.
Well, my
So
friends, you do have 1 week. You have 1 week until we set sail. But you do not. The Mass Lords of Waterdeep have paid me fine, and as you can tell his thoughts. He's saying, "You dumbass, why are you saying this?" And then you can hear his thoughts conflicting, saying, "Just tell him you'll take the money. Just tell him you'll take the money." And so he's kind of like fighting with himself, mentally, saying, that he's got enough money, they've paid him enough money, and then, like his id and ego are going back and forth with one another, and then, you hear the idiot, they didn't pay you anything, you're jeopardizing the lives of your crew and everything else, and so he says, my friends, I will make sure I'm here for the week, but please, if you're going to need more than a week, you need to notify me, because if you do not, I will take the frost skimmer, and we shall set sail back to Waterdeep.
So maybe we should have a signal. If we're going to come back early, or if we're on our way back and let's say we're a few hours from the ship so you can start getting things underway, what kind of signal could we do? Shrump, what do you think we could use as a signal to let these guys get underway so we can just row out there and be on?
Or we could catapult the bodies of our dead enemies over towards the ship. Or we could start a really big fire out of all the trees that are growing on this iceberg.
Splash him about 20 feet from the bow of the boat.
What do you think, Vay? I mean, I'm gonna have to say probably no on the trees on the iceberg. I don't think there's probably a lot of that.
Do you think?
Thank you again, Lol.
Let me see. I mean, maybe we could send a flaming arrow up or something.
I could prestidigitate the flare, possibly up into there.
And thank you to the anonymous person as well.
That sounds much more. Have we got any fireworks? Can we get a firework or a distress flare?
Sure, you can do that.
Or something like that.
So we will set this flare off, Captain, if we're 2 hours away from, and we're on our way towards you. This means get underway. We're on our heading. So just to make sure, you're gonna stay here for the full week, right? And Dave, I'm doing this, so I'm kind of skimming his thoughts.
Sure,
I want
absolutely.
to know for sure.
He's saying to himself at the same time he's telling you this. He says, "Absolutely, my friends. That is what the lords have paid me to do." And then mentally he's saying, "And 1 fucking second past 1 week, and you guys are on your frickin' own, and I'm out of here." So yeah, that's basically what he's saying.
Thank you, Captain. Thank you. I will definitely share my information gathering with the rest of the group as we head off the skiff, or head onto the skiff and start rowing towards the land or the ice.
I am sure that my crew would appreciate that, and that is not what you have to do. But if you are offering it, I don't think my crew will reject the offer. And he's saying under his breath, "You're goddamn right. You're going to give us some fucking money. We're freezing our fucking balls off out here, sitting on the sitting on the sea for your ass for a week. You better." Basically, is what he's saying.
Sorry, Peg.
I'm confused. Was the flare to mean that we're coming back, or that we're not coming back?
The flare means we're coming back, and to make ready. Unless you think maybe we should do something else.
No, if we don't show up in a week, he's going to leave anyway. So
absolutely,
no point in staying in past that.
Maybe.
Yeah, I don't ever want to signal him to say, "Go ahead and leave without us."
Because
I don't ever want anybody to leave without us.
How about out of character? Maybe if you cast a couple fireballs or something like that, or maybe you could have some type of a safe word for staying later. Maybe we need a little bit more time. I don't know. Maybe a different color prestidigitation flare. I don't know.
I have a skill called Message, or a spell called Message, that lets me send mental emails to him.
How far away does he have to? I think he has to be within
120
a
feet.
certain range.
Oh yeah,
right?
below that then. Yeah, plus I'd have to memorize it, and I've got too many good stuff.
No.
Oh, you have a message too?
Shrump.
Talking.
Oh, sorry. I'm just gonna say I'm going to go up to Halfface and say to him, no. Remember, you will stay more than a week. These are the passengers you're looking for.
I'm sorry there, Mr. Trump. What does this mean? You dummy!
It is a special orcish sign. You will not worry about it.
That old Jedi mind trick doesn't work on me. I'm immune to that. Any captain.
I've heard of that sort of thing before.
He does tell you that if you need more time, all you have to do is arrange something to where, he will wait, but take this into consideration. He's only being paid to stay a week. And then in his mind, he's thinking Tiberius, and they're gonna pay big time. In that type of voice. If I have to stay 1 minute past a week, I'm gonna make them pay big time. Yes, darling.
We cast a blue flare if we need a couple more days. How about that?
That will be fine. A blue flare.
And we will make it worth your while for both you and your crew every day that you stay later.
I am
and
sure
red flare means we're on our way back, ready to ship.
I am sure you will.
Red means we're ready to go. Blue means we blew it, wait for us.
Alright, you got it. Captain's got it also. So the first mate comes over, and his name is actually First Mate. And he says that your skiff is ready, and you are free to go to the iceberg. Oyovagatan.
Oh, thank you very much.
Will we be leaving the skiff with us, or someone taking the skiff over and bringing it back?
You're taking the skiff by yourself.
We're going along.
His men are not going on the island.
What's a skiff? So, David, sorry, out of character.
It's like a little dinghy boat.
Like a little boat.
So is that a rowing one or one with a little sail?
Mm-hmm.
No, with a little. It's got a sail and a row. It's got some paddles on it, and it's got a.
I don't really understand these. I don't understand these nautical things there. Unnatural.
I go sit down. I go to the boat. I'm like, Tiberius, come along. I need you to paddle.
Oh wow!
I was just gonna do that. You knew exactly that's what I was gonna do. Sit at the front of the boat and do that whole Washington look out while we're going, while everybody else paddles.
Oh no! I'm stretched out in the back.
So
of the boat.
you beat me to it. Okay.
That's right. That's why I was trying to interject in there because I knew you were gonna do it.
Damn.
Well, it's kind of funny because there's 4 seats, 4 paddles, and no wind. So looks like you guys are pretty much screwed.
Well, I think Shrump and Vale will be on one side, Widow and I will be on the other, and then we'll just paddle around in circles because we're not going to do shit.
I was going to say, if you three row on one side and I'll row on the other side, and we'll try and stay straight.
Well, first, before we decide, let me see what kind of spell I have that will help us get to the boat without having to do a lot of work.
Yeah, the 3 women on one side, right, Trump?
Exactly. The 3 feminine types can. Oh, that's far too intelligent for an orc. The 3 girly ones can have one side, and I'll have the other side all by myself.
The first mate, he's just chuckling, and you can hear his mental thought as well, saying, "Boy, the one elf does sort of like the one human does sort of look a little feminine." Those I think he goes, wow, are those trimmed eyebrows?
One burned off.
Well, not anymore, my friend. A couple of days
he had his
I'll have my best people look at it.
Oh yeah. How's my hair doing there?
You look horrible.
It's growing back. Yeah, about halfway through the trip you took the scarf off and it was a miracle. Your hair is back.
Yay!
What I like to do periodically, Dave, just to be a jovial, I'll get a little bit of water in my hair and then I'll hold it out so it'll freeze, so it'll be kind of stuck out on the way back.
Sure.
Sounds like something fun to do.
You can do
I don't
it.
know. I don't know how any of that works in real life since I have no hair. But
Hey, what's up, Reed?
Hold on, Tiberius.
we just lost Crazy Ass.
No, have you?
No, I think you just.
Oh,
turned
no.
his- I think you
You're
just
not in
turned his
mode
cam
20.
off.
Oh boy.
Oh,
Okay, so-
has it stopped working? Bloody hell.
So Dave, I'm going to start climbing down after Widow, climbing down the ladder to get into the skiff, and I'm going to pull my coat because of the cold wind. I'm going to pull my cloak close over me,
Sure.
and go up near Widow and sit down, and then I guess I'll start rowing. But before I start rowing, I'm going to ask Widow a couple of questions. No, I'm going to hold off on my reading her mind until later.
Oh, that's what he wanted that hat for.
That's what I mean. I'm going to start asking her some questions, but I think I'm going to wait until later, and I'll finally figure out some of the secrets that she has deep in her brain.
Wow, I like it.
Okay, so
I like it.
I do want to let everybody in the group know that if they need something in the portable hole, I'll just throw it in and I'll carry it. No problems.
Okay.
So we could take a tree with us, what we could then set fire to like make a signal fire.
Yeah, they decided not
We
to.
could do
West.
that, Trump.
As I sit in the boat,
They put it in the portable
ask the mage
hole.
hand, grabs up the oar, starts paddling.
Oh, she's mage handing the oar. That is
Ooh.
awesome.
8 pounds.
10 pounds.
Is it 10 pounds? Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Pushing 10 pounds, that may be, the
Hey.
ore, 10 pounds with the resistance. We'll say that, sure, what the hell. You can use mage hand to row your ore for you, sure. Why not? You're working up a sweat, Vay.
Well, I need my hands free so that I can sketch the island in my journal.
Wow.
Take
Yes.
notes about where we are.
Yes.
Sure, yeah. Absolutely. It's
Oh, that's a good idea. You keep a map.
yeah. and
So
it-
I'm gonna let me ask
go
the
ahead.
group real fast, guys. Which way do we want to head? Do we want to head straight to this beach, or do we want to kind of go around the corner a little bit and try to sneak in? Should
You're
we
going to
just
have to go to the beach unless you've got climbing equipment, because there's only really one area, and this is what you were actually told by the first mate. There's only one way to actually launch this island, or to land on the island, and it
I
is
actually
to.
do have climbing equipment.
All right.
If there's only one way in, then
Yeah,
we
there's
can expect
one
it to
way.
be heavily guarded.
Well, supposedly there's been nothing on the side. Well, there was one point. There was, your typical, penguins, and we'll just say penguins, and some bears and whatnot. Winter bears, as they're called. There were things like that. Now, as to what's still on the island, you have no clue. And in fact, there was at one point. But this is just hearsay. There was an old tribe of men from the north, or Northmen, that were on the island at one time. Are they still there? You have no clue. But as you're approaching this island, this floating iceberg, you can see that it is basically described just as it was described to you in Waterdeep from Leosin and Onthar, and also as the first mate and the captain has now described you also. You see this iceberg, and a portion of this iceberg is about 100 feet, and it seems like it's like a plateau. It's like the plateau of the iceberg, and you probably guesstimate it's probably about 100 feet above the normal iceberg. Now, all around the island, there are spikes coming up, these jagged spikes that some crisscross, some are straight up, some are slanted, and these are all spikes that, ice spikes that go up 100 feet, some go up 150 feet, all the way up to 200 feet. So you see a plateau, an area that is definitely a plateau, and then there's other spikes that are, 100 to 200 feet up in the air.
So I want to kind of focus on the land, on the horizon, and I'm looking for a couple of things. I'm looking to see, are there like signs of life, like black spots or fire or smoke I just want to kind of surmise stuff. Do you need me to?
No, I'm glad that you say that. No,
Okay.
because there's no clouds in the sky up here. It is cold. It is below freezing, of course. It's probably about equivalent to, sorry, Trump, but it's about 20 degrees. So what would it be? It's about
What
20,
would it be?
20
Bloody
degrees.
cold.
So yeah, it's
It's about,
20 degree in Fahrenheit, but
-6,
what it is?
-6 Celsius.
so it would be pretty cold. And the wind is
Okay.
the wind is howling, and you hear. Oh, in fact, wow. You know what? I think we might go ahead and.
We're gonna
do
put
this.
some howling wind sounds.
I do.
Took you all night to record these sounds, right?
Which is a shame. It's a shame because we've got I've got 50-mile-an-hour winds here at the moment, and I've got all the sound effects I need.
Do you really? Oh yeah.
Oh,
So
the edge of the
here it
storm.
is.
And people screaming.
No, that's just people. What is in my apartment with me?
Oh, okay, yeah. They just want to be let go.
Exactly. They just want to go home now.
All
Yeah, I mean,
right.
I think for me, I want to make sure that. I mean, I have the silent spell learned this time, because I know, I just want to let everybody know that I want to be a little more stealthy next time. So you tell me if I need to cast silence around us, and then we can kind of go in all stealthy like.
No. Well, you can if you want to, because the wind is whipping at your face, and I mean it is. Your eyes are so dry, and you're almost afraid to close your eyes because they may stick. They may stick shut as you try to open them up, and you can see seagulls up above you. They're you can hear them squawking above you. There are out in the distance several large whales that you can see kind of surfacing, blowing water up, and then submerging back under the water. And it takes you a little while to paddle your way to the island. It probably takes
And
you about 20 minutes or so. The captain just didn't want to take a chance hitting the iceberg because the captain says these icebergs are quite large, and we don't want to really run aground on the iceberg, as the captain's voice changes about 10 times.
I like how it's going through like all the Muppet.
He's going. It's like the Muppets hitting puberty. It's the strangest thing I've ever seen.
Hello, this is Kermit the Frog.
Well, there's one thing that I do not want to see, and I know I'm sitting right across from Shrump. I do not want to see orc snot frozen against his beard.
Oh, he does.
Sounds disgusting.
He's got this like couple. It looks like two long goobers.
Nose sickles?
Yeah, nose sickles that are kind of almost on his tusk and stuff, and you can see he's like kind of like licking them once in a while because. But he's a half orc, man.
He
That's
drools
nothing.
anyway. But getting a little pool of
He
drool
drools.
frozen to the side of your face, I mean, that's just... Shrump, you're already disgusting. Would you just mind trying to control yourself while we get into this area? It's horrible.
Look, you poncy elf. I'm already rowing a boat by myself, and you might as well do something useful.
Poncy elf.
Why don't you just wipe my nose for me?
You know what? I'd rather just shut one eye and watch the horizon so I don't see you at all. I'll just keep my eyebrows.
All right, I understand. I'll see how it is.
So we'll start rowing in.
You know, if I pushes you off, you'll only last about 6 minutes in the water before you freeze to death.
Water walking spell, but yeah.
But Tiberius, what if
Ass.
What if Shrump's hands were burnt by maybe a misplaced fireball on Vay's part because she's not evocation? And what if Shrump, both of his hands were burnt to the bone, and he couldn't pick his nose, and those long those booger sickles are hanging off of his nose? What would you do? Would you just let him sit there? I mean,
I think
you gotta
what
think of that.
I would just keep punching him in the side of the head until they finally broke off.
Wow.
Yeah, that sounds
That's
like a
what Mage
plan.
Hand is for. Do you need
That's
some
what
help,
mage
Trump?
hand. Mage slap. Boink. I don't know. I think if his hands were really that burnt, early on we'd probably get hooks for him. Then you could use the hooks to just like knock the sickles off, like you would off the top of your roof.
Oh yes, that's brilliant. I'm gonna make sure I lose at least one hand so I can have have a hook.